Hi, here we are again, and the sun is shining. I hope you've been out and getting some vitamin D and hopefully using that extra stretching video when you get home from that. That would be a really good idea, help to keep you supple and mobile and minimise any muscle soreness. Certainly worth using that. Lots! Anyway, let's just get started again. It's back of the head, shoulder blades, buttocks and heels up against an imaginary wall. Open the chest, slide fingertips down, seam of trouser leg. Tailbone pointing down, pressing tummy button to the backbone, pulling up into the rib cage. Then you can feel your pelvic floor lift. Opening up the hips, buttocks engaging, knees rolling out a little bit. Arch of the foot being encouraged, so lifting up the arch while spreading out the toes. Weight even between the little toe, the big toe and the heels. Then of course breathing full and wide into the rib cage, then you don't interfere with your zip up and hollow, pulling up and pulling in. And then keeping up nice and tall. Think about that piece of string through the centre of your head, pulling you up towards the ceiling. Shoulders back and down, lifting the right heel up and then pushing up onto balls of both of the feet and swap. Just doing some alternate heel raise. Just gently tap the heel onto the floor and push straight back up. Maybe breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And then keeping those hips and knees pointing forward. Just doing a little twist on the middle. Keeping the hips pointing forward, knees pointing forward, and just twist. Getting some flexibility into your spine. Keep the neck in line with the spine. Warming up the calves and the ankles. And then from here, just bring it back to start position, reaching down with the fingertips towards the floor, keeping the chest open. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, float the arms up towards the walls on either side, and then stretching down. Reaching up and then pushing down, then gradually increasing range of movement, lifting the arms up that little bit higher with each one. Nice and smooth. Reaching further up and pushing down, as if you're pushing down through some thick custard, creating some resistance to push against. Sliding those shoulder blades down your back. Then bringing in that heel raise again, both the heels off the floor, and then stretching down. Keep the shoulders themselves down and reach up. Arms by the ears, ears by the arms. Keeping everything aligned. Nice and smooth. Pushing all the way up, keeping spreading out those toes to spread the load. And then see if you can just hold that up, balance. Take hold of your left wrist with your right hand and do a little bend. Keep those heels off the floor if you can. And then swap to the other side. Lift. And that little bend over to the side. Bring it back and then push down. Reaching all the way up. If it's not comfortable with the arms over your head, you could just leave the arms down by your side. And then bend and slide your hands down the seam of your trouser leg instead. Trying to twist the upper body. Gently back, floating down. And one more time. If you can, you keep the heels off the floor while you do the bend, just to challenge your balance and switch on those core muscles. Or you could put the heels down if that's too much. And then lengthening up, bringing the arms back down by your side, and then lift your right hip and the left hip. So you're bending the knee and just hitching the hip up into the bottom of the rib cage, getting flexibility into your spine. Working those calf muscles again. Just swing the hip side to side. Feel that little nip into the waist as you bring those two sets of bones together. And then from there, bend the knees just a little bit and then tilt the pelvis forward and release. Tailbone pointing down, keeping the knees slightly bent, just hold them bent. That will help to facilitate the pelvic tilt. Bringing the hip bones into the bottom of the rib cage, scooping out the tummy, feel a little stretch in the lower back while you do that. And again, encouraging that flexibility into the spine. And then from here, just hold that there, tailbone pointing down. Bend the knees a little bit more, put the hands on the center of the thighs. And then push the hips up into the air, put a dip in your back. Keep your peach underneath your chin. So you're looking at the floor, slide the shoulder blades down, and then tilt the pelvis, arch the back, drop the head, look back between the thighs, and then do that again. The dip, try not to lift the head, keep the neck in line, shoulders down, and then tuck the pelvis under, drop the head. Get a good arch in your back, feel the stretch through your spine, and then again, the dip, sliding the shoulder blades down, lifting the hips, and then tuck the pelvis under, again, arch the back, keep the tummy pulled up and in, slowly roll up, link by link, bone by bone, up against that imaginary wall. And then again, do that little squat, put the dip in, tuck the pelvis under, make the arch, drop the head, and then slowly come up. Keep the arms close into the legs, shoulders back and down, encouraging that flexibility into the spine. And again, putting that dip in, peach underneath the chin still, shoulders down, and then the arch, drop the head, pull the tummy in, and engaging the tummy to support your back, slowly coming up, link by link, bone by bone, shoulders back and down. Taking the legs out wide, turn out the knees, turn out the toes. Exactly the same thing. Do the squat, tuck the pelvis under, arch the back, drop the head. And then lift the shoulders, lift the hips, and put the dip in there again. And then tuck the pelvis under, arch the back, and again with the dip. So you're alternating between the dip and the arch. And then just tuck that pelvis under and then slowly roll up. There's an element of balance going on there. Got to engage the core muscles. Do that squat. Dip the back, slide the shoulders down. Tuck the pelvis under, arch the back. Drop the arms, but keep the arms close in and slowly come up again. And one more time. Squat, dip, arch, drop, and slowly come up, shoulders back and down, keeping the legs wide. Do a little lunge, side to side, keeping the chest up, and then reaching out, reaching out. Turn the head, look along the arm, keeping the shoulders down, getting flexibility into your neck, your knees, your hips, and then from there, just swing the arms round, side to side, and then over the top, over the top. Turn the head, turn the head. Flexibility into the shoulders and the neck, hips and knees. And then maybe one more time either side. And bring it back to the start position, walking the feet back in. And then bend the knees, little squat again. Put the left hand on the outside of your right thigh, lift that right arm up, turn the head, keep the knees tracking forward. Open the chest. Hold that there, swap to the other side. Feel those thighs work. Open the chest, turn the head. And then just drop and slowly come up. Shoulders back and down. And just slide that right foot out behind you. And then press the heel right down into the floor to stretch the calf muscles. Those ones that you've worked quite hard. Pressing the heel down, keeping the hips pointing forward, knees pointing forward, chest up, shoulders down, and swing the arms forward and back. And then from there, changing legs, just press the heel down. And then this time, making sure the knee doesn't track any further forward than the toes. Lifting the arms up, strong arms, elbows in, open chest. Pectoral muscles in the chest working, pressing that back heel into the floor. Again, there's an element of balance going on here. So you might want to have the feet a little bit further apart and you need to switch on those core muscles. And then relax, bringing the arms back down, bringing the feet back into alignment again. Lengthen up, shoulders, hips, knees and ankles aligned. Relax the knees. Drop the head. Just let your breathing flow. And roll gently down. Hold. Breathe in, breathe out, go that little bit further. Keep the tummy button pulled up and in all the time to support your back. Let the head drop and dangle, let the arms dangle. Breathe in, breathe out, take it down that little bit further if you can. Hold, breathe in, breathe out, maybe just that little bit further. Drop the head, and then nodding the head. And then just shake, 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 shake the head. Keep the arms close in, the tummy button pulled up and in to support your back. Slowly come up, link by link, bone by bone, up against that imaginary wall. Standing at the back of your mat, back of the head, shoulder blades, buttocks and heels up against that imaginary wall. And then do that roll down again. Relax the knees, slowly roll down. Hold it there to breathe in. Breathing out, take it that a little bit further. Let the arms dangle. Breathing in, full and wide into the ribs, and then take it down a little bit more. Keep the head down. One more time, breathing in, breathing out, take it down. Hold that there. Going as far as you can, and then nodding the head, just to release the tension in the upper back. Shake, shake, shake the head. Keeping the head down, the arms dangling. Arms close into the legs, slowly come up, link by link, bone by bone. Up, up, up against the wall, shoulders back and down. And then again, this time I'm going to use the roll down to go onto the mat. Drop the chin, just go down that little way and hold. Breathing in, breathing out, down that little bit further, keeping the knees relaxed. Try not to lock the knees. Breathing in, breathing out, take it down that a little bit further. Try and keep the weight even between the balls of the feet and the heels. Breathing in, breathing out, take it all the way down. Hold it there. Again, nodding the head, just to release the tension. Shake, 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 shake the head. And then bend the knees a little bit more, putting the hands onto the floor, walking out onto the hands and knees, and then just gently taking yourself down, all the way down onto your front. Lying on your front, with the arms out to the side, crucifix position, bending the elbows at a 90-degree angle, lengthen through the legs, tummy button pulled up off that hot stone. And then take the legs up into a wider V shape, into the corners of the mat. Turn the toes in towards one another, the heels out to relax the buttocks. If your arms are not comfortable in that position, bring the hands underneath the forehead, let the forehead rest, or you could take the arms down by your side. Any which one of those arm positions is absolutely fine. But if you can, arms out, crucifix, bend the elbows at 90-degree angles, and then if you can, forehead on the floor. I'll keep my head turned to the side, but you want to have your peach underneath your chin, between your chin and your chest, eyes focused on the floor. Keeping the tummy button pulled up and in, cup of tea on the back of your pelvis. Just take a breath in, and as you breathe out, lift the upper body. Keep the eyes focused on the floor, and then breathing in to gently take it back down. So if you've got your head to the side, cheek on the floor, you exhale up, turn the head, look at the floor. Breathing in, take it back down, activating the back, not the buttocks. Imagine I've got my hand pressing down between the shoulder blades. You're lifting up into the hand, which is pressing down. Try not to engage the neck. Eyes focused on the floor, just engaging your back. Stabilizing with the arms rather than pushing with the arms. It's just an exhale up. Slide those shoulder blades down your back. Make sure the shoulders don't come up round the ears. And then inhale back down. And then see if you can add the arms into that. Just hover the arms and gently down. Exhaling up. Inhale down. If that's too much, of course, you stay with the arms on the floor. Or you could leave the hands underneath your forehead and lift and lower. You could lift the arms up, support the head, or you could have the arms down by your side. Just lift up and briefly reach back and then gently down. You decide which level you're going for there. Then of course there are add-ons here as well if you're interested. You can lift up, hold to breathe in, breathing out, reach back. Hold to breathe in, reach back. Breathing out, bring the arms back and breathing in to go down. But if that's too much, of course, you can stay with any of the earlier options. Just a lift, reach back, hold to breathe in, bring the arms back on the out breath, and then gently take it down. But if that's too much, you stay with the earlier options. Working into the back, feel those shoulder blades squeeze together as you reach back. Make sure there's no strain on the neck. There is another level if anybody's interested at all. You lift up, reach back, hold to breathe in, breathing out, sweep the arms round, reach forward, bring it back to your start position, and then gently go down. But of course, if that's too much, you don't need to add that on. Exhaling up, inhale, reach back. Exhale, sweep round, keep the shoulders down, neck in line, bring it back, and gently down. You decide how many repetitions you want to do, and of course, you don't have to do the hardest version. The hardest version again, lift up, reach back, sweep round, back to start, and gently down. And you do as many repetitions of those as you feel is appropriate. Then when you've done that, you come up onto the hands and knees, and bring the hands underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips, and give yourself a really good back stretch. Arch the back, drop the head, pull the tummy button up and in, tuck that pelvis under, head dropping down, looking back between the thighs. Give it a good stretch. And then because you want to cross the upper back also, cross the arms please at the wrists and do that big arch again. Remember, you can come up onto your knuckles if that's more comfortable. And you can also bring your hands closer in towards your knees to get more of an arch. And then when you're ready, change the crossover. Arch the back, drop the head, push down through the arms, open up between the shoulder blades. And then from there, back on to the front. Let the forehead rest down, if it's comfortable, on the backs of the hands. Lengthening through the legs. Take the legs wider again, but this time turn the heels in and the toes out. Keep that tummy button pulled up and in all the time to support you back. Sliding the shoulder blades down, keeping the length through the neck. And then exhale, lift one leg, inhale to lower. Exhale, lift the other leg, inhale to lower. Remember, it doesn't have to be high. You just lift and lower alternate legs while keeping your torso as stable as you can. Working the inside of your buttock muscles here. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders, but those core muscles switched on to keep your torso stable. Keeping that cup of tea on the back of your pelvis. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower, and then you could do single, single, and then double. If that's too much, of course, you just stay with the alternate singles. You can decide. So single, single, double. Keep the heels turned in, toes turned out. Activate the buttocks and the lower back. And if you're managing the doubles, you could just stay with the doubles. Exhaling up, inhaling down. Clenching the buttocks, feel the lower back working. And again, you do as many repetitions as you feel is comfortable. You can do alternate singles, you can do single, single, double, or you could just stay with the doubles. Then when you've completed as many repetitions as you feel is okay, then bend the knees, bring the heels in together, and then just hover the knees off the floor and tap the heels. 5 little taps on an in-breath, 5 little taps on an out-breath, and then lower the legs down. If, of course, that's not comfortable, you can maybe go back to the earlier options. Just do the single, single, double with the straight leg, or the doubles. But the harder version, heels in together, hover the knees, tap 5 little taps in breath, 5 little taps out breath, and then go down, or you could just stay with it. And again, you do as many repetitions as you feel comfortable. Keep breathing. Then when you've completed as many repetitions as you want to, relax back down, come up onto the hands and knees, and then just sit back onto the heels. Let the forehead rest down.
You might just want to take those arms behind you, palms up, or you could just leave the arms in front, whichever is more comfortable, but sinking right back. Remember, you can open those knees a little bit, get those hips back further a bit more, get more stretch in the lower back. And if you find that your hips are not going back down onto your heels, don't lift your head up, lift your bottom up to get your head down. Keep your bottom down, and then just make a fist and put the other fist on top of it if there's still a gap, and then let the head rest. So you keep those hips back as far as you can. Then when you've had a good stretch through the lower back and the buttocks there, stretching out onto your right side. Take the arm back a little bit and check your position. Remember, you can put a cushion between your head and your arm if you want to, or if it's not comfortable with that arm, bring the arm forward and let the cushion rest underneath your head. You can always do that. But if you can, you take the arm back, then encouraging the flexibility into your shoulder. Rolling that top hip slightly forward, check that you've got a nice straight line in line with your mat. And maybe put the hand in front or behind to open the chest, or you can slide the hand down the seam of the trouser leg, or even up towards the ceiling. Just turning that right palm up would make it more challenging, and you can always take that left arm over the top of your head. But you put that top arm wherever you need it to be. Try and keep the waist lifted a little bit off the hot stone, and then keeping that top shoulder down. Exhale to lift the top leg and inhale to lower. Keep lengthening through that bottom leg. Keep lengthening through both of the legs. Make sure the legs stay nice and straight. Try and keep that little gap underneath your waist. And then once you've got it going, challenge yourself with where you put that top hand. Just exhale to lift and inhale to lower. Nice and smooth and with control. So really challenging your balance with the movement of the limb. And then from there, see if you can hold that top leg up and lift the bottom leg and lower it down. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. If you find that's too much, then you can, of course, put the top knee in front of you and just lift and lower that bottom leg. Point or flex, whichever works better, but keep lengthening through the leg. If you can, of course, it's both legs up, but you can decide which level, and then you challenge yourself with where you're putting that top hand, and then just hold that bottom leg up, and then lift and lower the top leg, balancing. Again, challenge your balance with where you put that top arm, and then holding up, and then lift and lower, both the legs. You put that top hand wherever it needs to be, waist up and lower working, in and out of thigh working. Core muscles to balance, keeping that cup of tea on the outside of the hip. And then again, you do as many repetitions as you feel comfortable with. And then take the top arm over the top of your head, take hold of that top wrist with the bottom hand and lengthen through. Remember, you don't have to do both of those legs together. You could always leave the top knee on the floor in front of you, lift and lower the bottom leg, or you can leave the bottom leg on the floor and lift and lower the top leg. So you can decide which level you go to with that. And then when you've done enough repetitions, you relax, and if you can, leave that arm underneath the head, or again, you could leave the arm forward and put the cushion underneath, whichever you prefer. And then bending the knees forward, just pointing the knees towards the front of the mat. Waist lifted, and this is the one where the elephant comes into play. Wrapping a belt around your middle, attach a rope onto the belt, and then the rope goes over a beam, and then you've got your elephant on the end of the rope. And all you do to start with is keep everything stable from the waist down, keep those knees glued together, then the inner thighs will work a little bit again, and then exhale and just lift the waist off the floor. So you're exhaling, you shout pull at the elephant and the waist lifts. And breathing in to relax down. Keep the neck relaxed and just lift your middle. Reach up. And then from there, if you want to work harder and more upper body strength coming into play here, come up onto the elbow. Make sure the elbow is directly underneath the shoulder. And make sure it's not out or in or forward or back. It's straight underneath the shoulder. You need to get the scaffolding right. Waist is still lifted, shoulders back and down, chest open. And then exhale to lift the waist, elephant still pulling. Inhale to release. Just lift and lower. Upper body strength coming into this. Don't forget your peach underneath your chin so you're not lifting your head up or dropping your head down. Keep the neck in line with the spine. If you're managing that all right, you can come up onto the lower part of your legs and lift the hips right up. Exhaling up and inhaling back down. Keep the peach underneath the chin. And if that's too much, of course, you just keep the hips on the floor, or you can lie on your side still. If it's too much for the shoulder or the elbow, make sure there's no strain on the neck. If you want to work even harder, you stretch the legs out, make sure they're in alignment, and put the top foot in front of the bottom ankle. And then again, exhale to lift and inhale to lower. But if that's too much, you stay with the bent legs. You can decide which level you are going for. And then when you've done enough repetitions, remember you can pause and continue with the repetitions. Just relax and roll gently over onto your back and take a moment to set that up there. Lying on our backs. And then take a moment to set this up. Bring the chin down over the peach. Stretch the fingertips towards your toes. Put the little grape in the small of your back. Trade marbles across the pelvis, orange width between the knees. And then from there, keep the shoulders, hips, knees, ankles aligned. And then breathing in, nod the head. Breathing out, curl up, head and shoulders off the floor and crush the grape. Looking underneath the orange, hold to breathe in and breathing out, arms, shoulder blades, shoulders and head go down. Breathing in to nod. Breathing out to curl up. Push forward, press that tummy button right down into the backbone. Slide the rib cage into the hips as you breathe in and breathing out to go down. Remember, you can always support the head with one hand while you reach forward with the other arm, but make sure you don't twist your upper body. Breathing in to nod, pick up the peach, crush the grape, look underneath the orange, hold to breathe in and breathing out to go down. If that's too much for the neck, you can always just pelvic tilt. Bring the hip bones into the bottom of the rib cage and crush the grape from the other end, scooping out the tummy. So you can decide whether you do the pelvic tilt or the curl up, reaching forward. And then do as many repetitions as you feel comfortable with. And then let the head roll from side to side and ease out the tension in the neck. Remember, when you're doing the curl up, you can always push your tongue up as well into the roof of your mouth to relax the front of your throat. And then from there, putting the left hand behind your head, breathing in, nod the head, breathing out, curl up, reach forward, and then bend to your right side, reach and bring it back again and slowly down. Breathing in to nod, breathing out to curl up, hold to breathe in, breathing out, reach for your right ankle, breathing in, bring it back, and breathing out to go down. If that's not comfortable, do the hip hitch. Hitch the hip up into the bottom of the rib cage instead. Just hitch the hip up. But what you could do is you could do a pelvic tilt first and then the hip hitch to your right side. So it would be pelvic tilt and then hip hitch. But if you can manage, you're staying with that right side, breathing in, nod your head, breathing out, curl up and reach. Gently back and slowly down. And then you decide how many repetitions you're going to do and then do the same on the other side. So supporting the head, breathing in to nod, breathing out to curl up, and then push. Gently back and down. Supporting the head, but try not to pull on the head. Keep the neck in line with the spine, nothing moving from the waist down. Just nice and smooth. Take the rib to the hip, but again, if that is not comfortable, your neck starts to get sore and you can do the pelvic tilt, and you would hip pitch, of course, to the other side. Just pelvic tilt and hip pitch. Doing as many repetitions as you feel comfortable with. Try and do equal numbers on both sides. You know, I'm not very good at counting, but I'm sure you can manage to do that. And then relax back down when you've completed as many repetitions as you feel okay with. And then let the head roll from side to side, easing out the tension in the neck. And then stretching the legs out, take the arms over the top of your head and give yourself a full body stretch from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. Lengthen and stretch, breathe, just lifting and stretching. And then take hold of your right wrist with your left hand, cross your left ankle over, your right ankle over your left ankle, and do a big bend to the side, stretching down the side of your body. Lengthen and stretch. Lift the rib cage away from the pelvis, and then swap to the other side. Take hold of the left wrist, cross the left ankle over, and bend your upper body to the side. If it's not comfortable, you can always take the arms down by your side and just reach. You'll still get that big stretch down the side. And then when you've had a good stretch there, uncrossing the ankle and rolling over. Now you might need to come up and change sides, because the last time you were lying on your right side, you can just lie on your left side now. So in order to watch the video screen, maybe you could take the arms over the top of your head, breathing in to nod, breathing out to peel yourself off the floor. Remember, with grace, elegance and control. If that's too much, you can hold on behind one thigh, hold on behind the thigh. Breathing in, nod the head, breathing out, just pull a little bit with the thigh and lengthen up. Failing that, hands behind the small of your back, palms down. Breathing in, nod the head, breathing out, press down with the palms of the hands and push up. If all of that's uncomfortable, you just roll over onto your side and then push up to sitting and then sweep around to the other side and let the head rest. Remember, you can put your cushion between your ear and your shoulder, or you could put the cushion, a little thicker cushion, underneath the head and bring the arm forward if it's not comfortable with the arm underneath the head. Check you've got a nice straight line, turning the toes up. You just need to see the toes. If you can see too much of your feet, then you take the feet back. If you can't see your toes at all, you bring the feet forward. Let the head rest. Try and roll that top hip slightly forward and balance on the hip. Try and get a little bit of a gap between the waist and the floor. Make sure the shoulder stays away from the ears. And then balancing on that hip, try not to roll back onto the buttock. Exhale to lift and inhale to lower that top leg. Keep lengthening through that bottom leg. Make sure it doesn't bend. Just lift and lower and balance. And then once you get it going, then of course you challenge your balance with where you put that top hand. You can stretch it down the seam of your trouser leg. You can put the hand behind you to open the chest, pull the shoulder back and down, maybe even up towards the ceiling, a little bit more challenging. Just turning your left palm up would make it more challenging. And of course you could take that top hand over the top of your head. That would be the most challenging. Arm by the ear, ear by the arms. Trying to keep that cup of tea still. And then see if you can hold the top leg up, lift the bottom leg up and squeeze together. Hold the top leg still while you lift and lower the bottom leg. You might need to put that top hand in front of you to facilitate that. And then once you've got that going again, you can start to challenge your balance with the position of that top hand. If it's too much, put the top knee on the floor in front of you, let it rest and lift and lower the bottom leg only. Isolate that inner thigh, but of course if you've got both the legs, then you're working that outside hip and thigh on that top leg and the inner thigh on the bottom leg. Now see if you can hold the bottom leg up and lift and lower the top leg again. Again, you're balancing. Challenging the balance with the movement of that top leg while you hold the bottom leg off the floor. If that's too much, you leave the bottom leg on the floor. And then what about both legs together? Again, you might need to put that top hand in front to lift and lower, pushing the bottom leg up into the top leg. So the bottom leg is probably doing a little bit more work than the bottom leg. The bottom leg is doing a bit more than the top leg, because you're lengthening through the legs and you're pushing that bottom leg up. Waist working, upper and lower. Lengthen through the legs. And then when you've done again enough repetitions of those, hold that, relax, and then take that top arm over the top of your head, take hold of that top wrist and give it a good stretch down the side. Lengthen through the legs, still balancing so the core muscles are still working. Then we've had a good stretch there, bending the legs, bring the knees forward towards the front of your mat, keeping that waist lifted. We're going back to the elephant again, so the belt and the rope and the beam, and then from here, just take a breath in, sharp pull at the elephant, and the waist lifts, and then you just gently lower down. Exhale to lift, feel that undercarriage lift off the floor, and breathing in to lower down. Keeping the head down, the neck relaxed. Keep those knees together. Then the inner thighs work a little bit as well. And then if you want to work harder, you come up onto the elbow. Make sure the elbow is directly underneath the shoulder. And then exhale to lift and inhale to lower. Getting flexibility into your spine and working those waist muscles again. Just lift and lower. If you want to again work harder, you lift the hips up as well. Try to keep the neck in line with the spine. Try not to drop the head or lift the head. Keep that peach underneath the chin, between the chin and the chest, the knees glued together. And then of course, harder version, you extend the legs out, put the top foot in front of the bottom ankle. Make sure that elbow is directly underneath the shoulder, and lift and lower. You again decide how many repetitions you want to do, and of course you can bring it back to any of the earlier levels. If it's too much for the elbow and the shoulder, just lie back down on your side and do it. And then when you've completed the one you're doing, just relax there, or do as many repetitions as you want to. And then coming into a sitting position, please. Taking the feet out nice and wide, legs out wide, lift the chest, and slide the hands out towards the floor. Now, if you find that's too much, what you can do is just bring the soles of the feet together, take the hands behind you, sit up nice and tall, and allow the knees just to flop towards the floor. Keep the chest open, shoulders back and down, and allow the weight of the legs to stretch the inner thighs. So you can decide which one you want to do there. Legs wide, reaching forward, or sitting up nice and tall with the hands behind. And then stretching the legs out, crossing your right foot over your left thigh, taking that left arm around the leg and hug it into the chest, putting the right hand behind, sit up tall, hugging the leg in and rotate the upper body. Turn the head and look over the shoulder to your right. Got a big twist on the middle. Outside hip and thigh. Stretching, hug in nice and tight, maybe twist a little bit further. Flexibility for the spine and the neck. And then unknotting the legs and swap to the other side. Hugging the leg in, put that left hand behind, sit up tall first and turn. Hug the leg in nice and tight. Make sure that left shoulder doesn't come up around the ear. Maybe exhale and twist a little bit further. And then just relax and unknot the legs. And then from here, if you just want to come into a sitting position, either with the legs crossed or bent or straight out in front, however's comfortable, and just pop the right hand down. Lift the left arm up by the ear and do a big burn to the side. Lift the rib cage out of the pelvis. Lengthen, keep the buttocks glued down, keep the neck in line. Make sure you're not twisting at all, just straight over the top. And swapping to the other side, big reach up, bend that supporting elbow, make sure the shoulder doesn't creep up, keep the shoulder down, and stretch across. Lift the rib cage away from the pelvis,
stretch, lengthen. And then from there, bringing the arm back down by your side, coming onto the hands and knees. And then from here, just sit right back onto the heels, let the forehead rest down. Stretch the lower back, stretch the buttocks. Maybe take the knees out a little bit wider. You can always have the hands behind. Let the forehead rest. Or you can pop your head on the fist. And then from there, come up onto the hands and knees, arch the back, drop the head, pull the tummy button up and in. Have a really good stretch. Tucking under, let the head drop right down and look back between the thighs. Stretch from the back of your neck to your tail. Hold that there for a bit. And then from there, just relax. Tuck the toes under. Walk the hands into the knees. Hover the knees. Push the hips up into the air. Walking the hands into the toes with the head down, the knees slightly bent. Engaging the tummy and slowly come up. Link by link, bone by bone, right back up against that imaginary wall. And then standing at the back of your mat, you might just want to get a chair to help you with this stretch. You might need to, you might not need to. And then just take hold of the foot, bring the knees together, push the hip forward and feel the stretch in the front of the hip and the front of the thigh. Relax that supporting knee. You don't need to hold on, of course you don't need to hold on. Or you could just take the foot behind, bend the knees, push the hip forward, feel the stretch in the front of the hip if the balancing is too much, and then just lean back and push that hip forward a little bit more. You can decide which one you want to do. Get a good stretch in the front of the hip there. With this one, you get more stretch in that quadricep down the front of the thigh as well. And then from there, just take that foot out in front of you. Rest the hands in the centre of the other thigh. Push the bottom up into the air. Keep the peach underneath the chin, between the chin and the chest. And stretch through the hamstring muscle. Make sure the shoulders don't creep up around the ears. Just ease the buttock up towards the ceiling. Get a good stretch down the back of the leg. If you turn the toes up, you get the calf stretch as well. And then from there, maybe take your chair around to the other side. And take hold of the foot, knees together, push the hip forward. And just keep that supporting knee slightly bent. Balancing with or without the chair. And again, if you don't want to do that one, bending both the knees, keep the back heel off the floor, push the hip forward till you feel the stretch in the front of the hip, and then just do a lean back. It's more of a balance effort going on there. And then from there, just bring it back to the start position, slide that foot out in front of you, sit back, rest the hands in the centre of that left thigh, ease the buttock up towards the ceiling. Turn the toes up to get the stretch of the calf as well. Holding that there. Get a good stretch. And then sliding the foot in, slowly coming up. And then release the shoulders forward, up and round and back and down. Getting those shoulders moving. Big, big, big shoulder roll. And then opening the chest, slide the hands down the seam of the trouser leg. Drop the right ear down into your shoulder while you slide the left hand down the seam of the trouser leg. Hold that there. Stretch your neck, stretch shoulder. Turning the head, looking down at that right shoulder. Try not to move the torso at all while you turn the head and look up and behind into the left corner. Stretching the neck. Then just gently drop the chin all the way down into the chest. Slide the shoulder blades down your back, shoulders away from the ears, lengthening the neck. Keep that tailbone pointing down with the tummy button pulled up and in. And then you feel your pelvic floor lift a little bit too. Lifting the head up and then drop the left ear while the right hand slides down. Trying to move your body at all, just use the weight of the head to stretch the neck. Turn the head and look down at that left shoulder. Increasing flexibility into the neck. Turn the head and look up and behind into the right corner, as far back and up as you can without moving your torso at all. And then gently drop the chin back down into the chest, lifting the head. And then from there, just lifting the arms up, keeping the shoulders down, bend the knees, swing the arms, and loosen up a little bit. Just drop the head, swing the arms, and loosen up. And there we are, end of video number 3. See you again next week. Bye for now.